We have a lot of things to cover today, but first things first, what is up guys, name is Ray and welcome to another Genshin Impact video. We are starting the day off with the most important thing of the day, the new 5-star character Hu-Tao. As you can see, we already have the story quest available for her, so most of you guys will be able to play that, I'm sure about that. But in today's video, we want to go over the test run and test out Hu-Tao. At the moment, I'm not too sure if I want to summon on her for my free-to-play account, because my free-to-play account is actually only for having 4 stars and not using constellations. But after thinking a while of that, I think that doesn't bring me much more content or quality content for you guys, because most of the guys or most of the people who are watching are not new players, that are people that are still progressing and they want to see if new characters are good. And yeah, that's like an opportunity to summon for characters that I usually won't summon on my main account. So the reason why I don't want to summon for Hu-Tao is that I do not like her character design too much. Even though she might be broken, we want to do a test run real quick. Let's take a look at Hu-Tao, look at her abilities first before we run into the test run. So let's see what they gave there first. So they gave her, of course, the Staff of Homa and a full Crimson Witch of Flame set. So if you guys are wondering, she might look very strong in the test run, especially because they have higher energy recharge in the test run. But this is like just a first impression. Just from the test run, you cannot tell if a character is OP or not. Then she is Constellation 0 and her talents are all up level 8. So let's go over her talents first, then we're going to talk about the constellations, and then we go right into the test run. So she has a 6-hit damage combo, while the 5th hit is a double hit with some very decent multipliers, but I think her base attack is pretty low. Her charge attack does the 214%, which is solid. And yeah, okay, nothing really special about the art attack, of course. Then her E is the Guide to Afterlife. If you activate it, you activate the Parameter Papilio. Maybe I want to look at this one first. Okay, if we only on a Hu-Tao consumes a set portion of her HP, so she will sacrifice a portion of her HP, and then we go into the Parameter Papilio. Her attack is increased. Attack bonus gained this way cannot exceed 400% of Hu-Tao's base attack. So based on her max HP, she will get a attack bonus, but it cannot exceed 400%. Then all her attacks are converted to pyro damage, which cannot be overridden by other elemental fusions, and her charge attacks apply the Blood Blossom effect to the enemy hits. Increases Hu-Tao's resistance to interruption. The Blood Blossom effect is very similar to the Riptide effect from Child, if you guys do not know that, but if she hits an enemy with her Parameter Papilio, which you basically will always do after you activate the E, you will affect the enemy with the Blood Blossom, and they will take pyro damage every 4 seconds. So basically a damage over time skill additionally to her elemental skill, and the damage is considered elemental skill damage. Each enemy can be affected by only one Blood Blossom effect at a time, and its duration may only be refreshed by Hu-Tao herself. And the Parameter Papilio and when the duration is over. So let's go over the skill attributes. So the activation cost is 30% of her current HP, which is, I think, still alright. The attack increase is 5.6% of her max HP, so this is also easy math, or pretty straightforward. Blood Blossom damage is 102%. That seems pretty high in the first glance, because this is like just a side effect. But we want to see Blood Blossom duration is 8 seconds. Alright, this is also pretty wrong. The duration of the Parameter Papilio will be 9 seconds. And the cooldown is 16 seconds, which means basically that it has a 7 seconds of cooldown. So 7 seconds where you cannot use the Guide to Afterlife. I think that this should be her most important skill. So while you cannot activate this, she is not as strong as she used to be. And while in those 7 seconds, you may want to switch her out. That's at least what I'm thinking. So let's go over the Spirit Souffle. Commands a Blazing Spirit to attack, dealing pyro damage and a large AoE. Upon striking, the enemy regenerates a percentage of Hu-Tao's max HP, so basically a healing effect. This effect can be triggered up to 5 times based on the number of enemies hit. If HuTao's HP is below or equal to 15% when the enemy is hit, both the damage and HP regeneration are increased. Of course, when she is under 50% HP, we will get the effect from the Staff of Homa as well as the effect from her Elemental Burst, where she has a damage increase and a HP regeneration increase, which is basically a healing. So she might be a very sufficient unit. Not selfish, but self-sufficient. Her skill attributes, her skill damage is 447%, low HP skill damage is 558%, so basically very, very good multipliers. Nearly a 10% skill HP regeneration, a low HP skill generation is 12%. So these are basically the multipliers when she is under 50 HP. That is an increase of over 100%, which is insanely good. This is an increase of like 3%, but I think that she won't stay very long in that state, being under 50% of her HP when she has such a high skill HP regeneration of nearly 10% at level 8. I do not exactly know how it will be at level 6, but this is already very high. And her cooldown is 15 seconds, her energy cost is 60. But there is nothing about the duration. Or is it? Because then we do not know how long the attack buff will go. Oh no, the attack buff only lasts until she hits 50% of her HP, which only should be like 2 to 3 hits in theory. Let's go over the Flutterby. When a Pyramid Papilio state activated by Guide to Afterlife ends, to all allies in the party will have their crit rate increased by 12% for 8 seconds. Oh, this is a very good one, because you can use the Parameter Papilio and it will be affected until the last point after the Parameter Papilio ends, which is like 9 seconds. Then you have the 7 seconds off cooldown while you can swap out HuTao. So she's basically made to be swapped out after her Parameter Papilio ends, because the off cooldown of her E is 7 seconds and the increased crit rate is 8 seconds, which nearly matches the time of her off cooldown. So you can basically swap into all your other characters and they will have 12% crit rate right off the bat. Then the Sanguine Rogue, when HuTao's HP is equal to or less than 50% HP, her pyro damage bonus is increased by 33%. Oh my god, that is insanely strong. So actually, what I do see is that you want to keep her like at 50% HP or below, but most of her kit is not based around that, or at least her ultimate can heal her. And that shouldn't be too hard. And that's like cooking. I think that's not too interesting. Let's go over her constellations real quick. So, Parameter Papilio set activated by Guide to Afterlife, HuTao's charge attack. Okay, if you guys do not know, the Blood Blossom effect can only be triggered by charge attacks from what I do know. And usually charge attack does cost stamina. With the first constellation, you can get rid of the stamina cost and can apply Blood Blossom effect without using stamina. For the second constellation, it increases the Blood Blossom damage by an amount equal to 10% of HuTao's max HP at the time the effect is applied. Additionally, Spirit Souffle will also apply the... Alright, so we have a damage buff to the Blood Blossom effect and also another option to trigger the Blood Blossom effect with the ultimate. This is also pretty solid. Then this is always the same. E ability, 3 talents levels up. This one, upon defeating an affected enemy by Blood Blossom, you will increase the crit rate by 12% for 15 seconds. So with her other passive and with this one, you can increase the crit rate of your party members by 24%, which is huge. Then, of course, 3 levels for the Elemental Burst, and that one is pretty insane, but Constellation 6 for most of the 5-star characters is pretty insane. Triggers when HuTao's HP drops below 25% or when she suffers a lethal strike. HuTao will not fall as a result of the damage sustained. Additionally, for the next 10 seconds, all of elemental and physical resistance is increased by 200%. What is that? She is a tank. Her crit rate is increased by 100%. Oh my god. And her resistance to interruption is greatly increased. This effect triggers automatically when HuTao has 1 HP left. So if she would die, she wouldn't die, and then she gets these insanely strong buffs with high resistance and 100% crit damage, crit rate. Alright, yeah, that's it. Let's go into the test run real quick and see what she can do. Maybe we want to watch the attack combo real quick. Alright. It doesn't feel as fast as with Zhao, but I could be wrong there. Okay, let's go right into the run. Also, we do not have another character. Okay. Oh my god, look at the melt damage. I mean, of course we have Staff of Homer, we have Talent level 8. But, guys, okay, let's look at the damage here. 29,000 already. Oh, maybe we want to look at her attributes real quick. So she only has 1,400 attack, but HP. So I think they give her HP on the sands. Oh, I cannot look at the sands. All right, so I do assume that they give her HP on the sands because then she wouldn't have the 30,000 max HP. She scales heavily on HP, and she has 54% crit rate and 180% crit damage. That's a pretty unrealistic ratio for most of you guys. If you do not do like resin refills or did pre-farm a very strong set for her already. But like that's already a pretty stacked or maxed Hu-Tao. I think she is very easy to understand. Alright, look at this. And look at the HP. I was like on 60% of my HP. I just activated. Okay, let's maybe get a little bit of damage and see how fast she heals. Come on, attack faster. Okay, I'm now at under 50% of my HP. Let's use ultimate. Oh, the heal is very fast. It is like instantly. Okay, let's do like one more run. It heals like instantly. So I wasn't able to do one hit with the 110% higher multiplier. And she did heal over 50% of my HP already. So what I can see from that is that she is very self-sufficient. Because the elemental burst is up very fast. I guess if you build a little bit of energy recharge, you shouldn't have problems. Also, if you use a battery, even with the higher energy recharge in the test run, I think if you use a battery, you shouldn't have any troubles with HuTao. Oh my god. Alright, that was not on purpose, but no problem. We still can continue here. But we lost the energy on our ultimate. But that's still very good, because now you can see how fast she will get the ultimate with the test run. So yeah, you can see like all the particles that are not orange are the particles that you usually get because you do the test run. Let's use ultimate. And see, I'm like instantly full life, so the heal is like even faster than the one from Bennett. Okay, just looking from that, I think that you won't have her under 50% HP all the time. But just because you can use her E always off cooldown, and she can increase the crit rate of your party members, means that she's not close to Zhao. I think I would do one more run, and then we can do like a quick conclusion to that. Okay, I didn't do the charged attack until now, so let's use E and use charged attack. And then you can see the bloom here. I did trigger the blood blossom effect. He has the damage over time. Let's use okay, we need to have the E up again, and charged attack, and then you can see I applied 2 of the blood blossom effect. Now I'm under 50% of my HP. Let's use ultimate real quick and do some hits. Well, I feel like it is nearly impossible to stay under 50% of HP in the test run, because we cannot see the damage numbers of the buffed ultimate as well as with the Staff of Homer, because I use ultimate and I am healing for like 2,700 instantly. What is that? Yeah, alright, I think that's enough for the first impressions. We did 3 runs where we really could see about that. So what I do think after my first impressions is that the ultimate is pretty strong. It of course only does heal herself, but just because she can't heal herself, she will be very self-sufficient. So if you want to play her like optimal, I think that you want to use E for the duration of 9 seconds, and you want to swap her out to your other party members, so you can apply this at Constellation 0 to your other party members with 12% crit rate. Using this, you can heal herself, and at least in the test run, I wasn't able to really trigger this one because she healed faster than I could even do one attack with the low HP skill damage. But I think that 447% is still very, very strong. But I think the only way to manage to get this will be Spiral Abyss. I think only in Spiral Abyss you get that, and then it will be insane, because 110% is actually a very high amount. Then energy cost and cooldown, I think, is still alright, even though if we have higher energy recharge in the test run, I think that with a battery, if you use her like with, I think we shouldn't use her with Bennett, because Bennett can heal, but he has a attack buff, but that would negate the low HP skill damage like always. So that would be something that you should have to test. Unfortunately, I won't summon for her. I do think that I won't summon for her, maybe on the free-to-play account. So guys, if you really want to see some Hu-Tao content, maybe on the free-to-play account, but there I only have like free-to-play weapons at the moment, so it could be hard. I'm not too sure, but yeah, this one seems very interesting to me. So after the test run, I think the character is very interesting in terms of maximizing the damage of the character. You should have to try some things out. So I could imagine to bring her up with Zhang Ling, so you have a battery, but Zhang Ling also has a high energy cost ultimate, so that could be a little bit hard. But with Bennett, you would negate this effect like always. And these are like the two best fire supporters in the game right now. So yeah, it could be a little bit tough to maximize your damage, or to maximize at least this skill. Then we have the guide after Afterlife. So yeah, I think I did already explain that. Yeah, guys, I think HuTao is pretty insane. If you pair her like additionally after like talking about the maximization of the skills with Bennett and with Zhang Ling, I think that you can bring Kea, Ganyu, and Chongyong to the field, because they are very insane. They bring up ice, and then you can bring Melt, which would increase her damage even more. After seeing this, I still think she's now the best DPS in the game. Of course, I could be wrong, because we need to see other content creators to make videos on her, because, as I said, I won't do. But after the test run, my personal opinion is she might be the new best character in the game, the new best DPS character in the game. Yeah, I think the video is already way too long. Hope you guys still made it until here. If you guys do, so like, comment, and subscribe. It would help me out a lot. And I see you guys next time. If you guys want to see more Genshin Impact content, videos should pop up on the screen right now. Make sure to check them out. And I thank you for your support.